What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Lumsden Motorsports Garage. I'm Wade Lumsden, and today we're going to get back to some motor stuff. So kind of some change of plans and things like that, but we'll talk about that stuff here in a second. So let's get to work. Alrighty, so you guys remember hobby stock build stuff. We got down to this point with this block. This is a 60 over block, and we were kind of trying to figure out what we were going to do with it. The problem is these are dish pistons that came with it, so not really good for the race motor that we were wanting to build for the hobby stock. But you also know that I had the camshaft break on the 383 and the modified, so lots of issues with that stuff going on. I took that motor to the machine shop, and they are actually still 68 weeks out, and the first race at my home track is 3 weeks away, so ouch. Kind of in a tight spot. So we kind of changed gears and changed plans and stuff. The only 60 over set of pistons that I own is a pop-up set of pistons for a 383. So kind of as foreshadowing for future episode, I think we are gonna do a true junkyard build, whatever. On this block, we will do a 383 with, I have a crank, I have a set of pistons, it's all used stuff, right? So we're going to be using used stuff that we have to be able to put this thing together. That means we're going to have to clearance the block for a 383, and we're going to mash out these cam bearings, and we'll put in our own cam bearings. I think that'll be, I think that'll be kind of a fun build. You guys let me know what you think, and I think that's what we'll do there. So that means this motor is going to be coming off the stand, because that's going to happen at a later date. What we are going to do right now, like I said, I'm running out of time to get a motor put in this modified. I've actually missed races locally this weekend and next weekend, and but my home track in Fallon, like I said, their first race is in 3 weeks. So goal is going to be to try to make it out to that. I know my motor will not be back from the machine shop before then. So what I have done is I went and picked up a block at one of my local machine shops. Luckily they had one that was all done up and ready to go. It is a 30 over block. It's only a 2-bolt main, and it's not an 010 block. I like the 010 blocks because they have a higher nickel content, right? Which just makes them a little bit stronger. But this block has also been yeah, look, 30 over, 4.030, and the deck is 9.015. So we have a decked block, 30 over, honed, new cam bearings, all of that happy stuff. That was kind of a good short-term solution for me. Go swap in a core, pay for the machine work and stuff. Sometimes you get lucky and people abandon their stuff at machine shops, and you can go in and swap a core for something that's been machined up, or just work a deal, whatever. All of the shops in my town are crazy backed up, so I was super happy and super lucky to find that. We're gonna get that thing up on the stand. With that being said, This is still going to be hobby stock motor. It's just going to temporarily be a modified motor. Talked with my brother, and I'm going to use it until my 383 is done and back from the machine shop and complete and ready to go into the car. So we're going to build a hobby stock motor and go from there. So we have that block to start with. I still haven't quite made up our mind yet, but where we're leaning is I have a set of forged flat top pistons on 5/7 rods. Nothing special there, right? No, the rules for the class that is hobby stock or street stock actually is I just changed the name this year because there's a different class hobby stock. Anyways, both of those classes do not allow H-beam rods or anything like that. So still gonna have to use those rods. I went and I have sorry, I'm like walking in circles right now, just chatting at you guys, but I went and picked up a camshaft, Summit camshaft, only $100. The lifters though, holy snap. If you guys are getting ready to go buy lifters and build a motor and stuff, do your shopping and make sure you can wait. Those were the cheapest set of lifters I could find, and they were $180. I remember you used to be able to pick up a set of lifters for like $40, you know, $60, and they were decent lifters. And the other crazy thing, when I bought those, that's a set of 16, right? Because you need 16 lifters. There's 16 holes here, 2 for each cylinder. $170 something, right? But the set of 8 of the exact same part number lifter were $70. So I could buy 2 sets of 8 for cheaper than buying a set of 16. But of course they only have 1 set of 8 in stock, and it was going to be like 3 months before I could get the other set of 8. So if you're planning ahead, look at those things. Maybe you can order your stuff cheaper by ordering them in sets of 8 or whatever. So whatever. All right. Anyways, yeah, gonna get that up on the stand. Cam and lifters right there. What else we're gonna do? I think for this motor, we have a crank, 350 crank. I do believe, if not this one, maybe another one. I did make sure that I've got to go over the crankshaft and stuff and make sure it's still good, make sure it doesn't need to be polished or anything like that. If that is good and ready to rock and roll, we'll reuse a crankshaft that we have here. If not, Summit, my local Summit, does have a cast crank in stock for like 160 or 170 bucks. Not exactly what I want to do, but you know, when you're in a tight spot, that might be what we end up doing. We'll see. I just gotta actually inspect the crank that I have and make sure it doesn't need any machining, because like we said, machine shops are backed up. I'm not going to be able to get it back in time, so kind of stuck there. As far as heads go, let me bring you over here. Got the pile. This is everything that came off of that motor back there. I have a set of fuelie heads, or double hump, or camel hump, whatever you want to call them. They call them that because of this right here. I have a set of those. They're nothing amazingly special, as you can tell. They're still the press in studs versus having a set like here's another one, another double hump head, and see, it's got screw in studs there. So again, nothing special, but they're the best set of heads that I have, and I think they're actually the only, like, other than they're dirty, I'm gonna have to wash them up. I think they're the only ready to use heads. They're just, like I said, they're dirty from sitting on my shelf, and I did not bag them like I should have, so they'll get a nice warm bath. So got heads, got a cam, have a good idea of whether I can get a crank, or if I have a crank. I have some intake manifolds back in my shed, some 4-barrel intakes, high-rise aluminum, and that'll go on now. But I do think when it gets turned into hobby stock, we might have to put hobby stock, street stock, whatever the heck it is. Street stocks have a specific part number that they're allowed to use for their intake, and I'm not sure if I have one of those or not. We'll have to look. If I do, maybe I'll just throw that on there so we don't have to take it off later. But yeah, just I think we have everything we need to put this thing together, I think, for the most part. I did make sure that Summit has engine rebuild kits with packs of bearings and head gaskets and all that stuff to make sure we're good to go. Now, like I said, this block was decked. I don't know what that means for our quench. Gonna have to check that most likely. And if you don't know what quench is, there are a bazillion videos out there explaining what quench is, but to sum it up quickly, the space here, so you have the top of your block, the deck of the block, right? And then you have the piston that moves up and down, and it usually pops up just a little bit past the top of the deck here, right? And comes up into the head. And then you have, in between your head and the block, you have a head gasket. And once you bolt that all down, that creates a clearance that is between the top of the piston at top dead center and that, you know, the bottom of the head, right? So there's a space there. And whether it's large or small, that is your quench. And if you have too much space there, you could cause detonation. If you don't have enough space there, the piston will smack the head, right? So holding off on buying gaskets. I do know that Summit has gaskets that I can run over and buy, and bearings too, because like if I'm reusing an old crank, I might need a different size bearings than a standard set, right? I might need an oversized bearing. Not 100% sure until start making those decisions and start putting stuff together. But back to the quench, I may need a thicker head gasket due to the decking of the block. I don't know yet. Haven't figured that out. But when we get there and when we start putting the motor together, that's what we will be going through. So I know this has just been a whole lot of me talking at you guys, and I'm sorry about that. I'm doing right now with racing downtime, I guess. I've been doing a whole lot of yard work trying to get caught up on things like that, and this garage is kind of small at the moment. So without you guys having to watch, I'm gonna try to clean up my space in here as much as I can to make room to start doing an engine build, which should happen. Man, if it's gonna start next video, because I gotta get an engine built, right? But it'll at least be a good temporary motor for me, and then once I am done using it, it'll go back into probably a hobby stock for my brother. Street stock, hobby stock, street stock, I don't know, whatever you want to call them. Differences like cast iron intake versus aluminum, headers versus exhaust manifolds, like you can add ballast. Like there's just a handful of things that are different between the two in these two local classes, the hobby stock versus the street stock. Anyways, then the motor will end up getting put into a car for my brother, and then like I said, we'll come back when we have time. We'll come back and we'll build a what we're going to call the spare 383, which should be fun. So yeah, we'll end up with a nice flat top motor, or I don't know, I might put the pop-up pistons in it. I don't know. The only problem is I'm not sure what my compression is going to be when you run a compression test with the pop-up pistons and those double hump heads. Yeah, because they have a rule in the street stocks that your compression can be no more than 200 psi, which sounds like, I mean, that's a lot. It really is a lot. But we're talking about a block that's been decked, and the pop-up pistons that I have are big. They're a big pop-up. They were a 14, I think it was like 14-to-1, really close to 14-to-1 compression ratio. Anyways. So I don't think that he would be able to run those pop-up pistons in his motor without possibly breaking that rule. And we don't do that. You know, we do our darndest to make sure that we're within the rules, and opening up that rule book and making sure that we're staying within it. We do try to find gray areas, but that being that specific and not knowing 100% whether we would fall under that, be right at it, you know, because I would really hate for us to do really well and then they do a compression check and we come in at 205 or 210, you know, and just because we didn't think about it. So better to be safe than sorry. And we're going to do a flat top motor. It'll still be a really good running hobby stock motor. I might be a little off on the pep that I like in the modified, but yeah, we're gonna be just fine. So just letting you guys know what was going on. Sorry again that it's just me yakking at you, but like I said, I got to get prepped to have space to actually start building stuff. And you saw that those pistons and stuff were all used, so I really got to start cleaning parts. So that's gonna be fun. I don't have a parts washer except for my hands and a bucket of soapy water. Yeah, maybe I'll go get a nice brush too, a nice soft brush. We'll see. But that's what's going down, guys. Making room. Gonna start the engine build stuff this week, and hopefully we're gonna be able to get done and go race. So whew. Sorry for the long talk session. I really appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Any questions, comments, concerns down below. Reach out to me. I still got Lumsden Motorsports Win the Show, Be the Show t-shirts. So reach out to me if you want a t-shirt. We'll figure out how to get it to you, ship to you, and all that stuff. Go join the Facebook page. Yeah, guys. Hey, welcome to the craziness if you're new. And we got stuff to do. So we'll see you guys next video. Definitely going to be more actual building and stuff like that going on. So peace out, guys.